We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Kwiat, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. We have Justin Corley. How's it going today, man?
Yeah, man. You doing all right?
I'm hanging in there, man. It's Friday, so I guess that's a positive.
Thank God. Yeah.
It's like I wish I could go out and party tonight, but I got to be a good boy and go to work. So
Gotta pay the bills, man. Honestly, going out and partying is not worth it half the time. I got beer at home.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I've got a half a case sitting there, and I'm like, if I show up hungover tomorrow for a couple of hours, nobody's gonna care.
Yeah, dude. Just pop a goody powder, you'll be golden.
Right? It's one of those deals. It's like I show up in the truck or the company truck. It's like, why are you hungover? It's like, don't ask.
Why are you not hungover?
It's like, y'all the ones that came here at 7:00 not hungover, so
Yeah, dude. Lame.
right. So you're based out of Nashville? How's everything going in Nashville?
It's going good, man. It's cold. It's really, really cold right now.
Right.
We had some pretty serious snow come in a couple weeks ago, which, I mean, some people hear that, they think serious snow is like 2 feet, 2.5, 3 feet. I'm from South Carolina. If we get like an inch, it's hell, you know?
Yeah.
Like everything's shut down, but it got in like the single digits. But everything's going pretty good for the most part. We're looking at getting some shows going and stuff like that, and, you know, just grinding away.
Nice. I was going to ask where you kind of at show-wise right now, because obviously right now is kind of like an odd time in Nashville where everybody's kind of gone from like the Christmas holiday rush, and I don't really think things start picking up until like next month with CRS. Is that kind of when things start picking back up?
Pretty much like mid-February to like early March is kind of when it kind of picks back up, and it's usually full swing back in April.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, I got you. So are you pretty much playing around Nashville then, or do you get out and go like back out to South Carolina? Or
trying to do both, man. I mean, we moved here in 2022, and I've been playing downtown a lot just to kind of get my feet wet with, you know, playing that scene and just trying to do that to pay the bills and stuff like that. But I used to play a lot back in South Carolina before we moved, and I go back home probably like every month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe, to play a couple shows just to see family and stuff, kind of playing around that. Yeah. But we're looking at expanding, like, you know, trying to get those better shows in other places rather than just South Carolina, you know?
Right. Well, and that's the cool thing about Nashville is, like, I mean, it's a little bit harder now because we were talking offline about how you ended up having to go get a 40-hour. But, like, even on the weekends, if you're willing to drive 3, 4, 5 hours, you can get a lot of different places from Nashville. Like, if you just are willing to go do, like, those out and back shows.
That's the thing, man. And, like, I remember I started working that job back in September of last year. And my buddy, he had a couple shows. Like, there was one in Kentucky we did, and there was one in Oklahoma we did. And, you know, that was like an 11-hour drive. And I think I left work, and we went straight to Oklahoma after I got off work. And, like, we took shifts driving and everything. But, I mean, that you have to be willing to drive and put in travel, which is fine by me because I like seeing new stuff, you know?
Okay.
I love it. Just like, I've never seen so many casinos and crap, like, on the way to Oklahoma, because, I mean, in South Carolina, we don't have casinos, you know? We don't have that. There's none in Tennessee, really, so it was definitely a first for me to see a casino, much less 10 of them on the same strip of road within 5 miles, you know?
Oh yeah. It's a thing. It's a whole thing.
Oh yeah.
But just being willing to put in that effort and sacrificing, like, all right, we got a show on a Sunday night. I know I'm going to have to drive through the night to get back home for work, so I don't have to take a sick day or a PT, a day off or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, I've done that several different times. I went out to CMA Fest last year and doing like media and whatnot. And like the last day is on a Sunday, and I was there till like 5 o'clock. And I
Yeah.
was like, I got a 12-hour drive back home. So get in the car. I pulled in. I pulled it like I was gonna go home because I was like, okay, well, I'll have like an hour or two to kind of eat, get reset
Yeah.
a little bit. I pulled in at 8:15. I was like, well, I'm going straight to work because I got to be at work at 8:30. So, uh,
Worth it.
yeah, it was just one of those things. Everybody was looking at me all day like, when was the last time you slept? I'm like,
Yeah, I haven't.
who sleeps anymore? Like, I'm
Yeah, you can
I'm
sleep when
doing
you're dead, dude.
right. It's like, I mean, and it's like I've kind of dropped that mantra, but it's like when I'm doing something that I love and I've got to be somewhere to pay those bills,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it all work. Don't worry
That's
about
the
it. So,
thing. It's definitely worth it, especially if it's something like you literally just cannot live without doing.
mhm.
You
Oh
know,
yeah,
like if
oh
it's
yeah,
something that you just eat, sleep, breathe, and you're invested in it, it's work. It'll never not be work, but you got to find the silver lining in the clouds. I know that's like an overused idiom
yeah.
or figure of speech, but I mean it's true. You know, you
Oh
got
yeah.
to be like, I asked for this. You know,
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if I didn't ask for this, if I was just doing it because I was told I'd had to, then it'd be a completely different story. It's like, no, I'm willingly signing up for all these things.
yeah.
I'm willingly paying these bills and footing these bills. I can't be mad, you know?
That's the thing. You, why would you be mad at something that you asked for?
Right? Right, right. It's yes, I might be a little grumpy.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be pissed, but like, you know,
There's a distinct difference there. It's like
yeah,
Mad Tom and Grumpy Tom are two different people. Like
yeah,
Grumpy Tom is just gonna like ignore you. Pissed off Tom is going to tell you to go do things that are anatomically not right. So
somewhat impossible in some
yes, that too.
senses.
That too. So you said you moved to Nashville in 2022. Was that kind of always the goal, or
So I
yeah?
mean, it's definitely something that it was always kind of up in the air. I never really thought that I would actually make that jump and do it.
Hmm.
But I mean, I grew up I mean, everybody says they grew up in a small town, but like when I tell you small town, Saluda, South Carolina is it.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those deals. I grew up in the church playing gospel music, and I would do all these events, played at a bunch of school events, stuff like that. And people always come up to you after you do that, and they're just like, "When you gonna move up to Nashville?" And you just hear that for 10 years, and you never really think that you're gonna do it until you
Hmm.
finally just say, let's just go, let's do it. Why not? Because I know if I sit there and think about it too much, I'm going to come up with all these what ifs and then I'm just going to not do it.
Yep.
So you kind of just got to dive straight in.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't know. I always wanted to, but I
Mhm.
never thought I really would.
Fair. Fair. Fair.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where my head's at right now. It's like I want to, but I don't know if I ever actually will. But
Yeah.
I think I will here eventually. Like I've kind of given myself the 40, like once I turn 40 in a couple of years, it's like that's when I'm going to make the move.
Yeah.
Like if things aren't working, like if I've been here in Texas 7 years and things aren't working the way I want them to, I'm moving to Nashville because then at least I've still got another 50 years to live
That's,
my life and do my thing, you know?
that's it. And I mean, there's a stigma that, once it gets to a certain point, it's too late to do something, but it's never too late to do
No,
anything.
no, and not at all. It's like the fact that I'm 37 now, about to be 38, and it's like I've still got 38 plus more years. Like the life that I've already lived, I can live it again.
That's the thing, man. Time is an illusion.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like it's never too late to do anything. I don't care what
Oh,
anybody says.
I 100% get it. I 100% get it. So, where are you kind of at creatively right now? I know we were talking a little bit offline about some music coming up, but where are you kind of at right now?
Yeah, so I've been in the studio a couple times over the past couple weeks for this one project we're working on, and I've got one that's ready to go, and a ton more that are ready to go into the studio. But I mean, I've for the past couple years, it was kind of hard once we finally moved here with money, just because it's expensive, man.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to like being a college kid in South Carolina and your only expense being your $400 rent payment, living with your best friend and his dad owns the house, like that was a blessing. Don't
Oh
get me
yeah.
wrong, but I mean, it's a big change.
Right.
But we're finally in a position that I can afford to get back in the studio and start making art again, and doing what I love and being able to share like experiences that I've had that could help other people through something.
Yeah, for sure. It's I feel like Nashville's kind of the place to do that.
Oh,
You know.
definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody told me when I first moved here, like, I mean, they call it Music City for a reason. It's literally some of the best songwriters in all of the world collected in this
Mm.
one giant cesspool of just everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've met people from Britain, from Australia, from Romania, like
Hmm.
all over the world. It's cool. It's cool to meet people like
Oh yeah.
that. But I mean, you talk about songwriting, production, audio, like visual stuff, videos, photography, everything. There's so much here. Like the tools are here, and it is insane. You know?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's the support when you have the support like that, that's when people are going to start to gather. When it's like, oh, it's probably not cheap to do some of that stuff, but
Yeah.
it once I get to that point where I want to do a music video or I want to do a, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it's all right there. You're
That's
good.
the thing, man.
So,
Like you said, it's right there. And I mean, that's another thing. Half the time you're working, but you're not really just working. You're
mhm.
building relationships and hanging out with half the people you work
Yeah,
with,
right.
and you you do your best to take care of them when they need it, and it's vice versa. And then when you're trying to do something that's a little bit bigger, they're gonna look out for you big time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's as big of a city as Nashville is, it's still that small town community. Like it that and I mean, I'm sure there's people there that have ill intentions or, like nefarious, like
Yeah,
whatever or nefarious things. But for the most part, everybody's there because they love music and they want to help support music.
that's it, man. And I
So,
mean, it's definitely an all for one kind of mentality in
mhm,
most situations. Like, even if you just met somebody out at like one of the bars or around or just doing anything, playing
mhm,
downtown, you can click with them like that because you both know the same kind of things,
mhm.
and you both you're striving for the same thing. And half the time, like I said, you build that connection and you can achieve that together.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's that iron sharpens iron. The all rising tides raises all shit. Just like whatever cliche you want to throw out there, it just fits Nashville to a
It
T.
is. That's it.
Yeah. So you said you've been back in the studio. Are all these songs that you're kind of working on? Are these songs that you've been playing, or are they all like 100% brand new? Nobody's ever
Oh
heard.
yeah, no, they're definitely songs that I've been playing.
Mhm.
We do like a lot of writers rounds and stuff, so I'll play them there. They
Mhm.
usually get pretty good feedback, and that
Nice.
that kind of tells you, hey, is this the song like I thought it was? I love this one. It might not get great feedback, but then you do another one that you weren't so sure about, and people
Yeah.
love it, and you're like, okay, maybe I should put this one out. I'll put this one out maybe someday.
Yeah. 100%. It gives your song an opportunity to kind of mature is the word I've been using recently.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Because it's like in your head, Because, like, I mean, I do this with like video editing because that's like my thing is video editing and all that stuff. Is like you get this idea stuck in your head of how something's supposed to be, whether it's how it's supposed to sound, how it's supposed to look, like whatever. And you keep trying to force it to do that. But by you going out and playing the song live, if you're like paying attention to like what everybody's doing like while you're playing, if you're losing them during this part, it's like, okay, I
Yeah,
need to go back and look at this. But or if they're not reacting to a certain part like you want, you kind of let the song just naturally find its thing,
that's the thing. I mean, a song's like a kid, man. You got to let it grow up.
Yeah.
For a lack of better words. I mean, there's been several times that I've played a song and it doesn't get that reaction at a certain spot. So you go back and kind of make it stronger. And then the next time you play it, people are like, that is freaking awesome.
I agree 100%. And then you'd mentioned it, or we talked a little bit earlier about like shows and all that stuff. And when you go back to South Carolina, I'm guessing you still got family and stuff back there?
Oh, yeah.
Now, are they the ones that helped get you into music originally, or where does that kind of come into play?
So, yeah, my dad, he used to sing in the choir at my church that I used to play at. And so he's always kind of been one of the first people to really get me into music. We used to have a bunch of like Garth Brooks tapes and this mixtape that he made in the 80s. And it was like Randy Travis on it and Clint Black, Alan Jackson, and a lot of Garth. And we popped that in his truck that he had at the time. And he'd start singing and I'd start singing. And it got to the point where we realized, hey, like, I'm not awful at it. So,
Yeah.
kind of started doing that, just playing around. And then when I was 12, my grandpa gave me my first guitar. That was my great grandfather's. And I started learning how, and I taught myself. And I've just kind of been playing around ever since until I was in college. And I think it was in 2019 when I played my first bar gig. And from then, I mean, that's just fell in love with it. That's what I've been striving for, just to be
Nice.
able to do that.
Nice. And so since you said it was your grandfather's guitar or your great grandfather's?
It was my great grandpa's guitar.
I'm guessing you still have it then.
Oh yeah, it's in the case in the closet.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
like, once I heard it was like an heirloom, because I like asking that question because, a lot of times those first guitars aren't always like a family heirloom,
Yeah,
So,
big
um,
time.
do you still break it out and play it every once in a while, or is it
I
still,
don't, man.
no?
I keep that one in the case. I've also been saving up money to try and fix it. It's got a
Mm,
crack in the body right under the bridge,
yeah.
and the bridge is coming unglued.
Yeah.
So when you tighten the strings, it kind of starts cracking a little bit, and I just don't want to chance that. that'd
Yeah.
be
Yeah. Yeah.
that'd be tough.
All right.
But
My dad's got a giant upright bass that I've had my eye on for years, and it's like I really want it just so I can learn how to play upright bass because I feel like that'd be really cool.
yeah,
But every time I look at it, that bridge and the neck of the bass is just like cracking because uh, back several years, about 15 years ago, my mom and I, for maybe my dad's 60th birthday
hmm
or 55th or 50th, somewhere in there, we had the idea of getting his bass tuned and like restrung. The guy we got didn't know what the hell he was doing and tightened the strings too tight. And because my dad's a very aggressive bass player, it like you could just see the crack forming under the bridge of the bass. And it's like,
tough.
eh, I ain't
Well, it's
touching that
not.
thing. I ain't touching that thing. It's like
Yeah, no.
I'll go find a luthier or something and be like, yo, help me fix this because
Yeah.
this is a 1919 K bass that has a cool story. And it's like there ain't very many of these around. So
Yeah, no. That's definitely one that you're gonna have to find somebody that knows what they're doing. Don't
yeah.
take it to Guitar Center.
Oh
God,
no.
whatever you do.
No. My boss gave me the wildest story about Guitar Center. She was like, she went to Guitar Center the other day to go pick up like little mic stand things,
Yeah.
and she was like, I don't know, Guitar Center just must know what they're doing or something because they had this line of people like tuning their guitars, and it's like, no, they're all little kids that don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
And these people waiting in line don't know what they're doing, and they just see, oh, we tune guitars for $10, like whatever it is. And it's like, oh, cool. I don't have to learn how to tune and restring my guitar. So
That's tough. Yeah,
yeah,
they need to learn how to do that.
yeah,
I just took my hummingbird that I always play out. The pickup went out on it, so I went in to get a new pickup put in, and they had it. I didn't know they were going to set it up, but they did. Appreciate that. It's the sentiment behind it. But now it is just buzzing like crazy. And it sounds not god awful, but pretty dang close to it,
right,
It's
right.
just not it.
And I'm guessing Nashville has like actual like guitar, like luthiers and stuff
Oh,
that'll
yeah.
actually, yeah, okay.
Yeah, big time. All over. Honestly, most places, like I know in Berry Hill, there's probably like 2 or 3. And then there's a bunch close to Division Street. But I'm going to be taking my stuff to Carter's. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Definitely. They know what they're doing in there.
Oh yeah, I've never been a big fan of going to, not to bash on Guitar Center, but
Yeah.
I've never been a big fan of going, like even just buying some of their equipment. They never know 90% of the stuff they have. Like
Yeah.
I went there once and I was looking for an instrument, like a pencil condenser mic to pick up
Yeah.
for like acoustic sets and stuff. And I walked by their cabinet, or like they had like this cabinet of stuff, like of mics, and I was looking at it and I was like, I saw this like $200 condenser mic that was like, ooh, that would actually be really cool to have. I wonder how much they wanted for it. And it was like $20. And I'm like,
Let's go.
this mic right here, yes.
Used gear. Let's get it, baby.
No, it was brand new in the box.
Oh, it was new?
Brand new in the box. And I was talking to the guy, I was like, why is this mic so cheap? And he's like, I don't know, we've had it for 3.5 years and nobody wants to buy it. So I was like,
Okay.
well, guess what? I'm that sucker. I'm buying this mic.
Today's your lucky day, brother.
Right. And it's like, I use that mic every freaking time we go out. That is the best mic I own. And I only paid $20 for it.
Let's go, dude. What brand is it?
It was an MXL 603.
Yeah.
And just like MXL is the brand I use. That's just kind of what I like. And it was like a special limited edition. Like that, none of that really affects the mic, but just the fact that it was a limited edition made it a little bit more valuable.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I will take that one. $20, here you go. And if I wanted to, I could sold it on eBay for 150 and made $130 profit. So
Yeah, dude. Golly.
right. It makes me want to go back in there and be like, okay, what else don't you know you have?
Yeah. I'll take your entire stock.
Right. Do you have any Shure 58s? Do you guys know what that is? Do you guys know what a Shure 58 is?
Yeah, wireless packs in here.
Right. Right. So I don't know. It is what it is. But kind of moving forward, what's the show schedule looking like kind of heading forward?
Yeah, so as of right now, we just got pretty much 2 to 3 downtown a week. We're doing that, but I'm kind of trying to book more for the fall. I've got one back in South Carolina with my buddy that's coming. Liam Coleman and me will be playing at Cowboy up in Greenville on March 21st. Just a nice little duo show, just
Nice.
hanging out, gonna play some tunes, some originals, a lot of originals, actually, mostly originals. But just really trying to find places that are not necessarily just any old place that you can set up and play, looking more towards venues. But the biggest thing with that, I'm awful at sending cold emails. I'm so freaking god awful at it.
Yeah.
So, like for every 100 emails that you send to a place, you might hear back from like 4, 5.
If you're lucky. If you're lucky. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Actually,
the biggest thing.
What I've found most recently now, which is kind of interesting, is especially out here in Texas, a lot of venues are doing this thing where they'll have like a submission form online where it's like, submit your music here for, like whatever. And you got to like put in your like Spotify, you got to put in like performance, you got to like go through the process. Like, actually send in an EPK, which is a lot of musicians don't have, which is very
Yeah.
funny to me. So
It's a game changer, definitely. I found that out early last year, and I finally got an EPK and a one sheet, and we're working on getting my website rolling now. But
yeah,
I mean, half the time, even if a venue contacts you, like there was this place in, I think it was North Carolina, that hit me up on Instagram and my DMs, and they were like, "Hey, we heard your music. We saw, some of the videos on your page. We'd love for you to come play at our venue."
yeah,
And I'm like, "Okay, yeah. Just text me at, gave him my number, or email me at, gave him
yeah.
my email," and never heard back from them. And I've messaged them like 3 times since then, and I'm just getting left on scene. And I'm just like, what do you want?
Right, right. Well, and it's one of those things where, because it happens to me for like the podcast,
Yeah.
where if you're sending out and receiving as many there's as many messages as I am, it's like it takes like a day, and
Hey,
I'll forget about your like straight up forget, unless I write it down saying. Like I've almost got to get sticky notes and be like, okay,
yeah.
I need to message this person back, and this person back. Otherwise, the message feed gets
Yeah.
lost,
Just
But
drowned.
yeah, pretty much. So, but no, that's cool. You need to get out to come out to Texas. Like I think you got or you and like if you do bring out a buddy, do like a duo show,
Yeah.
I think y'all would kill it out in Texas. So
Be pretty sick, man. I mean, that's kind of the sound that we go for is, the gritty kind of Texas rock country. That's kind of what I fell in love with in like high school and college and stuff like that. So not necessarily trying to replicate it, but you can definitely tell the influence.
yeah.
So it might go over well there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially if you head out towards like Central Texas where I am, and then just keep going west. I don't quite know what the vibe is in East Texas because I don't spend a
Yeah.
whole lot of time there. But Central and West, yeah, I think you'd be golden. So
Well, I mean, East Texas, I hear they got pine trees, so they must be decent people. They
yeah,
might, they might have good taste in music.
yeah, that is true. They do have pine trees, and then the further south you go, you get into the swamp, and
Yeah.
that's a whole thing. So. There. But really appreciate your time. If anybody wants to check out your music, all that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all Justin Corley. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Usually when I'm playing around, I throw in OnlyFans in there too. But I mean, just to get some laughs.
Yeah.
But it's all at Justin Corley Music.
Nice. I love it. Well, buddy, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will catch y'all later. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Live and Amplified's Indie Fusion podcast. If you'd like to support anything Live and Amplified does, please follow us on all of our social media platforms at Live, the letter N, Amplified. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, any of them, all of them, at Live, the letter N, Amplified. And if you would like to buy any official Live and Amplified merch, you can do so at our merch shop, link in the description below. Once again, thank you all. Have a great day.